I can't spend my life working so hard for the nebulous things that I haven't gotten to, that I forget to enjoy where I am. I forget to enjoy making cider from the apples in my backyard, and I forget to enjoy the beauty of the bike ride that I just took, and I forget to enjoy the sitting on the floor and brushing the dog. I have learned not to take those things for granted and enjoy them as they come, and still work for the next thing, work for the next thing that I want to do.
Welcome to Zestful Aging Podcast, where I speak with changemakers from all over the world, from every walk of life, who will inspire you to live with zest. I'm your host, Nicole Christina, and my mission is to bring you optimism about aging and help you make full use of the new opportunities that only come at this stage of life. And to find out more about this podcast, hop on over to zestfulaging.com. Well, we all love midlife reinvention stories, and I've got a great one for you today. I've wanted to interview our guest for years, and I finally got to meet her recently at a public radio shindig. Her life story illustrates the bittersweetness of life, also known as life is Brutiful, which is a phrase coined by Glennon Doyle. Diane Jones is a composer, musician, and host on WCNY Classic FM in Syracuse. And after too many years in the administrative world, she left the corporate workforce to pursue her passion in music, a choice that has taken her to Carnegie Hall and recording with the London Symphony Orchestra. Her love of music is now joined by a love of cycling and raising awareness and support for cancer research and patient services. Welcome to the show, Diane.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm so happy to be here.
It's really fun to hear your voice in a different way, because I'm used to hearing you on the radio, and we'll get to that. But this is sort of like my brain is melting a little bit.
We'll see if I fall into my announcer voice. My husband, if I start reading a news article, he goes, "You've got the announcer voice going." I'm like, "Oh,
Okay.
sorry."
Yeah, that's funny. So let's take it back to your years as an executive secretary. I remember when we met recently, you said, I had a fine career and I was quite good at it. And I just want to kind of understand how you knew it was time to make a major pivot.
It goes all the way back really to my youth. I mean, part of it is my parents were products of the Depression. And so even though I loved the arts, I loved theater, I loved music, you have to do something practical because you have to make sure that you can earn a living and support yourself. And I bought into that. And so when I graduated high school, I took what people are now calling a gap year and started working and didn't go back to college. I started working in business. I started working in insurance, and eventually moved into secretarial positions and found out I was really good at it. I'm good at kind of prioritizing a lot of different things and doing the administrative work and doing I can buckle down and do the detailed work to make sure that all of these things are coordinated and done properly. I was really good at it. I wound up working in insurance. I wound up working in banking for quite some time and eventually became an office manager, believe it or not, at a veterinary practice. But my father became ill, and when dealing with his final illness and kind of the aftermath for a couple of years after, I just found myself getting more and more depressed, more and more concerned. And I finally realized that kind of everything in my life felt wrong. I wasn't getting fulfillment from my work. I wasn't getting fulfillment from my faith. The only good thing in my life at the moment was the family, which you can't underestimate, but
Mm.
it can't be the only thing. So I took some serious, serious time and thought about what are the three most important things to me beyond family, because family will be there. That to me is not a let's make that important, because that's always been
That's a given.
huge. That's for me, that's a given. And I've been very fortunate to have a family, both my family growing up and the family that I married into has always been very much a wonderful and supportive group of people. So it was, what else is important to me? And what is it that's going to fulfill me? And I kind of came up with the three crucial things that meant the most to me and had been with me through my entire life. And the one was animals. I can't
Mhm.
survive without my animals. The second was music, and the third was creative writing. So my husband and I talked about it, and I had put him through college. We neither of us went to college straight from high school. We didn't go to college till after we were married. And so it's kind of my turn. So I said, I'm
Mm.
going to go to college as an English major, and then realized after spending about a year kind of preparing for this and figuring out our finances and all the ducks we had to have in a row to do this, realized that music had kind of overcome the creative writing. I still do creative writing in the sense that when I write something with lyrics, I write my own lyrics. I rarely set other people's words to music.
Mhm.
But I went to University of Delaware as an undergraduate at 40 years old. I mean, this was a
Mhm.
big life change. It's the first time in my life I dyed my hair because I didn't want these kids to look at me as mom. I
Mm.
knew I wasn't going to be the party animal with them, but I didn't want to be mom. And I was older than some of the professors even.
Wow.
So I went to University of Delaware for my undergraduate, and throughout the undergraduate became more and more comfortable with being able to say I'm good at this. You know,
Mm.
it's hard sometimes for us to say I'm good at this thing and not apologize. I was always taught to apologize for being good at something because somebody else is better than you. But I am good at this. And when I got to my senior year, I started thinking about, well, maybe I will go to grad school. Maybe I will get a master's degree. And my professor had been a student at Syracuse University and had heard about the Billy Joel Fellowship that was available for the composition track at the master's level at Syracuse University. And I was one of the first two Billy Joel fellows there. So
Mhm.
that paid for my master's degree here at Syracuse.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, talk about lucky. And, you know, my age, I grew up with Billy Joel. Billy Joel was
Mhm.
always playing in my bedroom.
Oh my goodness. That must have been so amazing to be now
Oh,
you're just in a whole different world.
I really am. And then the other part of this came as I was getting ready to graduate with my master's. And again, my husband and I, we've been married since we were 21. We've got a long life together and a very strong relationship. And I said, you know, I want to do the Penn and Teller uh, goals. And I heard an interview with Penn, Jillette, and Teller years ago about when they decided to partner, they made an agreement that they would not take a job that paid the bills until they made it in the entertainment industry. They were only going to take entertainment industry jobs.
Mhm.
And so I said, that's what I want to do. I don't want to, you know, it's one thing to take a temp job for a week because you need a little cash, but I don't want to take a job as an executive secretary just to put money in my pocket because I'll run out of time to do these things musically.
I see. So
And
that's really committed. You're really in with both feet.
I really am. And I'm fortunate to have a support system that I can do that. I also recognize how lucky I am with that. But
Mm-hmm.
then I happened to see the ad for a new host at WCNY, and it just kept sitting there and sitting there. And I finally said, "Oh, what the heck? I might as well apply." And that was in 2009, and I've pretty
Mm-hmm.
much been here since. But it's
Mm-hmm.
great. It gives me part of what I get to do is the noontime interviews with all the different arts people in the area. And so I've developed this wonderful network and this wonderful connection with the arts in the area through the station that has just been so beneficial all the way around for me personally, for me professionally, and it's an incredible community. I came from the Philadelphia area. I didn't think I was going to. The arts here and the arts in Philly, I thought were going to be vastly different, and they're not nearly as different in quality as I anticipated. The arts community here in Syracuse is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So I lucked out. I lucked out, and I want to stay here for the rest of my life. I mean, that's fun.
Hi, Zesties. Hey, if you're enjoying this episode, I would so appreciate if you would share with just one person, like a family member or a friend who would enjoy and benefit from Zestful Aging Podcast. Thank you so much. One of the shows that you have that is I can just hear your joy, just like sort of exuding when you give the local music teacher the award.
Yes.
And what I didn't know until you told me later was that you surprise these teachers.
We do. The Music Educator Award we started in the last school year, and we actually just last week or the week before gave out our 10th award. And so far, we've been able to surprise every single teacher. It's a great way to recognize the impact that these teachers at all levels, we've had everything from middle and elementary school teachers up through, we just recently had someone at Cayuga Community College. And it's the dedication of these teachers and then the ability to
Mhm.
let them showcase this, showcase their kids, showcase what they do, and really reinforce the importance of the arts in schools. I mean, the arts gives you such an incredible community that and camaraderie that doesn't come from any other type of activity, I don't think. There's no competition or minimal competition in the music department. And when one kid has a problem, everybody comes to their side. And that's
Mhm.
something you don't see often enough. So being able to recognize these teachers and recognize the environment that they are creating for their students is such a blast. And
I can hear it. It's like you're going to a surprise birthday party.
it's like, hi, guess why I'm here? Hi,
Yeah.
you don't know what I'm going to do. And
That's so joyful.
absolutely, absolutely. It is pleasure start to finish with these, and the
Now
kids get a kick out of it.
yeah, I gather that. Speaking of pleasure start to finish, we need to talk about Carnegie Hall and how that all came about and what that must have been like. I saw your picture in front of the poster
Mhm.
of your work at Carnegie Hall. Tell us the story.
The again, part of it is relationships. When I was living in Delaware and taking this time to really immerse myself in music, I picked up my flute again. I had not played it in years, and I wound up essentially being the substitute flutist for one of the community orchestras. The conductor has become a very good friend of mine. He's a marvelous, marvelous cellist and conductor. His name is Ovidiu Marinescu. And he called me up one day. We had, developed this friendship, and he knew that I composed and that I was in school for music composition. And when I got up here, he called up and he said, "We're putting together a CD. Would you write something for the trio?" And I said, "Okay." And put this together. We had the whole recording experience. And because of the organization that we were working with, Parma Recordings, part of that included a performance at Carnegie Hall, at Weill Hall at Carnegie Hall. And I've been lucky enough now. I've written 4 pieces for Ovidio and his Trio Casals. And I've been to Carnegie Hall now 4 times.
Mm-hmm. I
And then
can't imagine. Tell
oh
us
my
what
God.
that's like. I mean, the first time seeing your name there as a composer, how does one feel when they see that?
It's overwhelming because it becomes, again, it becomes that moment of, yeah, I can tell myself that I'm a good composer, but then you go, yeah, here's my name on this program
Mm.
and on this recording and at Carnegie Hall. So yeah, I actually am good at this.
Mhm.
It's kind of an affirmation
Yeah.
of what you've achieved and what you've accomplished. And no matter how confident we are personally, just having some outside neutral party
Mhm.
saying, "Yep, yep, you're
Yeah,
good. We
you're
got you."
good. Oh, so do you feel like you kind of stand up a little taller now or
I
what?
do. I
Yeah.
absolutely do. I sit here and say, "Yes, I'm a composer," without hesitation, without
Mm,
qualification. Um,
mm,
yeah, there's just a little bit more, "Yeah, I did that."
talk about bucket list.
Oh,
Holy
yeah. Oh,
oh,
yeah.
yes. And then recording with the London Symphony Orchestra.
Again, it was Ovidiu, and he said, "This opportunity has come up, and I love this is when I get really goosebumpy." He says, "I love how you write. I really want you to write." They were all short pieces from a variety of composers, but he said, "I really want you to write something because I love the way you write."
Mhm.
And I know Ovidiu well enough that I know when he's sincere.
I
And,
see.
this is it that's not a blowing smoke kind of thing. So we had to postpone it because it was originally scheduled during the pandemic.
Mm.
And so they had to cancel everything. And I wound up attending virtually. But it was an incredible experience. I've got I think they're up on my website. I've got some pictures in the hall and with a video and Miron Valpotic, the conductor, and the musicians doing this. And I'm so thrilled with the end result. And afterwards, he said, "I'd really like to." And this is one of those I still have to get on it and do it, but we'd love to expand it into something even bigger because he's really happy with the way it
Mm.
turned out, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And I get to say, I have a recording with the London Symphony. Look at
This
me.
this beat is getting longer and better, as the years go by, but, one of the things I talked about in the intro is the bittersweetness of life. I mean, you have had some high highs,
Hmm.
what one might argue the highest acclaim for a composer. But as we said, you have started cycling and raising awareness for cancer because you have experienced cancer. And
Hmm.
do you want to talk a little bit about sort of that,
Sure.
the
Mhm.
the
That heck
how
of a journey.
yeah, I mean, right, right.
I was diagnosed with cancer I had a mammogram the day after my birthday in 2022. And within 3 months had a double mastectomy.
Mm-hmm.
It was that fast a diagnosis. And for me, though, first of all, I was very, very fortunate. They caught it much earlier than many other people. So I've not had to go through nearly what others have had to go through. But I'm also the fifth diagnosis in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Starting in 1980, about every 10 years, somebody else is diagnosed. It's been, I've taken to rattling it off. Brother, brother, father, brother, me. It's testicular cancer in 2 cases, esophageal cancer, non-Hodgkin's
Mm.
lymphoma, and then now breast cancer with me. So it's really, really personal. And the thing for me too is that I was 17 when my first brother was diagnosed, and 43 years ago, the treatments were much, much more brutal than
Mm-hmm.
they are now. So at 17, I saw kind of the worst of the worst.
Yes.
And that's a horrible age to see those horrible things. And I've seen firsthand the advances in 43 years. And so that's kind of why I was inspired to try and raise funds and try and raise awareness and support. And my husband is a cyclist, so
He's
cycling was an easy thing to
not
do.
only a cyclist, but he's building stuff, making
He
his
built
own
my
wheels.
bike.
I was like, "Wait a minute, you can make your own wheels? I never heard of such a thing." And he was
Yeah.
talking about, "Oh, I really enjoy this. There's so many
Mhm.
options."
Well, and we almost wound up with a ridiculous set of wheels. There was a company going out of business, and they were selling these like $3,000 wheel sets for $25. And he went,
Oh,
I'm going to try and get it because it's a ridiculously expensive wheel set for the bike that I have.
wow,
He
wow.
missed out. They sold out faster than he got to it.
Oh no. Oh no. So this was just sort of an interesting synchronicity that your husband was a biker, and
Hmm.
then after you had recovered enough, and I know you started out pretty soon after your surgery, you were doing some light rides. You
10
decide
weeks after surgery was my
10
first ride.
weeks. Talk about grit. And then you said something about 50, and tell me about the whole 50 state idea.
50 rides in 50 states is kind of my mantra right now.
Mm.
The idea is to do. I mean, I've seen these people do these epic rides across the country, and
Yes.
here's Diane Jones riding solo across the country, and I'm going, this is the secretarial mind. I'm going, the logistics of that. Oh my goodness, I just don't want to
Oh.
do that. I don't want
Mm.
to do that. And I'm not this big endurance rider, but I can ride. I can ride, 20 miles, 30 miles.
Mhm.
And then I thought, well, let's do organized rides. And if I do an organized ride in each state, then in terms of fundraising, people who don't want to give their donations to an organization where they don't feel like where they feel like it's going someplace kind of anonymous.
Kind of like the American Cancer Society.
Right. And I do have an American Cancer Society page, and I love what the American Cancer Society does, but they're more global. They're more national and global
Mhm.
versus if for example, I just did the Pink 13.1 down in Abingdon, Virginia, and it benefits the Virginia Breast Cancer Foundation. So the
Mm.
funds that go there go directly to the residents in Virginia.
I see.
So I thought that was a little nicer for people to be able to really feel like their donations are helping their own community.
It occurs to me that you have this beautiful music network and community, and now you have this cancer research cycling community.
It's a heck of a community, I tell you. It's
Oh, wow.
incredible. Yeah, you walk in to any of these and everyone has not just such a strong connection to the cause that they're riding for. It's always a very personal connection because the statistics, The statistics when my brother got diagnosed in 1980 and the statistics today, I hate to say it, are the same.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
1 in 3 people will have cancer.
Mm.
1 in 3. And when because I remember when I was a kid and I found that out, and I said, so that means if you have a father and a mother, somebody in your family is probably going to get cancer.
Mm.
And that really is part of the 1 in 3 now, is because our diagnostics have gotten so
Oh,
much better. We're
yes.
able to catch things we couldn't catch before and catch them earlier. So it's a little deceptive to say 1 in 3,
Mhm.
but the statistics are still the same. If you work in an office with more than 2 people,
That's amazing.
you probably are going to know someone who has cancer. One of my coworkers here, a month after I got back after my surgery, her husband was diagnosed. And so, she and I were kind of going through all of that together here, and it's a wonderful support system at work. And then there's another one, oh, yes, my mother had breast cancer, and everybody has a story, everybody has a connection.
Yeah, it's almost become some kind of perverse rite of passage for women.
Yes. Yeah.
Once you open up and say, "Oh, I had," you just hear people, "Oh, yeah, me too, me too, me too."
And the stigma is going away. The
Mhm.
stigma is much less.
Mhm. I'm thinking about the research on healthy aging, Diane, and I think about how many boxes you check off. You're doing something you deeply love. You have this, as you call it, rock solid relationship with your husband who was decked out in pink.
Yep,
In that, it looks like he is just as much into it as you are,
he
building your
is.
bike, all of this, your music community, and now the breast cancer awareness community. And you also have this grit about you that, yeah, this is terrible. And yet here it is.
Mhm.
That you're really doing all of the things that are known to create this life of, deep satisfaction and health span, not just longevity.
Mhm. It's a level that some people take a long, long, long time to achieve, and some people never achieve it in their lives.
Mm.
Part of it for me was because my first brother diagnosed was he was 22. He was diagnosed on his birthday. Lucky, happy birthday.
Mm.
And I was in my late teens, and we did not expect him to survive. He has survived. He has thrived. He has 2 beautiful children and is running marathons himself.
Oh, wow. I'm glad to hear the happy store ending. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good ending, but at the time it was terrifying. But it also gave me, at a young age, at 17 years old, kind of an awareness of mortality that I
Mm.
hope a lot of 17-year-olds don't have to get. But I realized then that, if I walk out into the street tomorrow and get hit by a bus, I'm not going to regret what I've done. I'm going to be happy at where I am. There are things I want to achieve, but I can't spend my life working so hard for the nebulous things that I haven't gotten to, that I forget to enjoy where I am. I forget to enjoy making cider from the apples in my backyard, and I forget to
Oh.
enjoy the beauty of the bike ride that I just took, and I forget to enjoy the sitting on the floor and brushing the dog, and I forget to enjoy sitting and having a wonderful conversation with my husband over dinner at the end of every day. So I have
Mhm.
learned not to take those things for granted and enjoy them as they come, and still work for the next thing, work
I
for the
hear
next thing
that.
that I want to do.
That balance that you want, you don't want to just be zenning out, brushing your dog, that there's such a simple beauty in that. And you also want to accomplish and you're striving for the next thing. That's such a great description of that equilibrium, that balance of, yes, I want to do more. I want to go back to Carnegie Hall. And yet, look at where we live. I mean, upstate New York is just sometimes it's mind blowing how we live in this beauty.
We are really lucky. We have a little 1-acre plot in the middle of a farm next to a horse farm, and I've taken it to calling our little acre. This is my little acre, and it's so wonderful to be out on my little acre and enjoy that. And again, it's not always an easy thing to learn because we get so much pressure to do the next thing, or what have you done for me lately? And the difficult things in my life, I think, are the things that have given me the awareness to say, yeah, you know what? That's really not, in the grand scheme of things, it's not important. Yes, I have responsibilities and I will take care of my responsibilities, but this is more important. Being here, being in the moment, being present is more important.
That's just such a beautiful message. And I try to remember that when I'm walking my dogs on the trails, is to just walking. That's what I'm doing now. I don't have to make my grocery list or figure out, my next administrative task. I just need to smell, that earthy smell, that the wet leaves and all of that. It's a discipline, and sometimes it's easy to get swept up.
Yeah, it's so easy to get into the, okay, I have 15 minutes, so when I get to work tomorrow, I'm going to have to do X, Y, and Z, and then, oh yes, and I have to make sure, and oh shoot, I have to write this down, and I better run out to the store and get. It's like, no, just stop for 1 minute, just stop and breathe and look around you, and then you can make your list. But every now and then you just have to go, stand in the middle of the room, close your eyes, take a deep breath and go, okay, I'm here. I'm good.
I love that. I'm here. I'm good. I think we're going to end on that. Diane, where can people find out more about you? I know you have, your nickname is Jonesy. Is that right? I love that. And tell people where they can find out about your incredible composition and all the good stuff you want to share.
All the musical things are on my Pet Dragon Music website. So www.petdragonmusic, like fire-breathing dragon.com.
Okay.
And if you want to follow my my cancer journey, I'm kind of keeping things separate so that people can pick and choose what they want to follow. It's called Jonesy, Jonsey, Cycles for Cancer, and that's on WordPress. There's a YouTube channel called Jonesy Cycles for Cancer, as well as a WordPress site. And so you'll be able to see everything that's coming up on that. You'll be able to see the rides that have been done. It's getting ready for winter, so there's a lot of new things coming up for that. Plus, I'm also finishing up a commission for Syracuse City Ballet for the musical side of things, and so you'll be seeing more on that as well.
If people wanted to find you on social, where would they go?
Pet Dragon Music, or look up Diane Jones Composer.
Okay.
But look up Diane Jones Composer because there's a lot of Diane Joneses around.
I guess that's right. Yeah, that's great. Well, it has been such a delight it was lovely meeting you, and it's just been such a delight to get to know you, and I just admire your grit and your attitude. It's really inspiring.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been wonderful to get to know you as well, Nicole.
Thank you so much for joining us on Zestful Aging. If you like the podcast, please share it with some of your friends.
Our theme song is All I Did Was Wait for You by Kjartan Abel. Visit Kjartan-Abel, that's KJARTAN-Abel, ABEL.com to hear more of Kjartan's work. And our technical director is Stephen Litweiler.
Hello, Zesties. Well, many of you know that I've been a psychotherapist for more than 30 years, and I'm an expert in healthy aging. But what you might not know is that I'm also a midlife coach, and I help women like you clarify and design the life you want to live in your second half. A life that's vibrant and feels uniquely like you. Maybe you've spent your entire life caring for others in one way or another, and you're a bit stuck with how to move forward in this new phase of your life. Or maybe you're considering a career change or other big life transition. Or maybe you're in the middle of a life change you didn't see coming. You may be asking yourself questions like, who am I now? And how do I build a new kind of life for myself? Or how do I make the most of the time I have left? This stage in our lives is the perfect time to pause, recalibrate, and reassess where our life is heading and ask ourselves what deserves our precious time. Now is the time to focus on what brings you joy and a sense of deep, calm contentment. I love helping women discover who they are in addition to being caregivers. After our sessions, you will have a clear plan for making your life more vibrant and deeply satisfying. You will feel a sense of control because you will be making choices that are perfect for you. And you will feel more confident because you will have an individualized blueprint to follow. And because you're a Zestful Aging podcast listener, I'm offering a special package deal. Contact me at zestfulaging.com right through my contact link. Time is truly precious, and there's no time to waste.
And stay tuned next week for another interview with a fascinating and inspiring guest. See you then.